So I've gotten a lot of requests for dorm stories, and I get it. There's something uniquely unsettling about being away from home for the first time, sleeping in a building full of strangers, and realizing that the door between you and whoever's out there is thinner than you'd like. I finally put together 3 stories that I think will stick with you. Here we go. Story 1. My sophomore year, I transferred to a smaller state school in the Midwest. I'd spent my freshman year at a bigger university and honestly hated it, so the transfer felt like a fresh start. I got assigned to a single room on the 4th floor of one of the older dorms on campus. The building had this specific smell to it, old wood and something else I couldn't name. My RA told me the building was one of the original structures on campus and had been a men's residence hall since the 50s. I thought that was cool at the time. The first 2 weeks were fine. I was getting into a routine. Classes, dining hall, back to the room. I didn't know many people yet, so most nights I was in my room alone with the door locked. That part matters. It started on a Tuesday night around 2 in the morning. I was still awake reading when I heard something outside my door. Not knocking exactly. More like the slow, deliberate sound of someone dragging their fingernails down the surface of the door from top to bottom. Once. Then silence. I sat completely still, waiting. Nothing. I told myself it was someone messing around in the hallway after a party and went back to my book. It happened again the next night. Same time, same sound. Slow, intentional. Like whoever it was wanted me to hear every inch of it. This time I got up and opened the door immediately. The hallway was empty in both directions. The fluorescent light at the far end was flickering. That was it. By the 3rd night, I had my phone in my hand, ready. The sound came right on schedule. I yanked the door open within 2 seconds of it starting. Empty hall again. But this time something was different. There was a folded piece of paper on the floor directly in front of my door, just sitting there. I picked it up. It was a photograph, printed on regular copy paper and folded in half. It was a picture of my room window taken from outside, from the ground looking up. The light in my room was on in the photo. You could see my silhouette at the desk. I was in that exact position every single night. I called campus security immediately. They did a sweep of the building and found nothing. They took the photo, told me to report anything else. I pushed my desk against the door that night and didn't sleep. Nothing happened for 4 days after that. I started to relax. Then on the 5th night, I woke up at some point in the early hours to a sound I still can't fully describe. It was coming from inside the room. A low, rhythmic knocking from inside the closet on the far wall. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks. Pause. I did not move. I did not breathe. I stared at that closet door for what felt like an hour before I picked up my phone and called campus security again. They arrived within minutes. When they opened the closet, there was nobody inside. But the rod that normally held the clothes hangers had been taken down and was leaning against the back wall of the closet. I had not moved it. I had never touched it. I was moved to a different building the next morning. The school never found anyone responsible. I finished that semester and transferred again the following year. I've never been able to sleep comfortably in a room with a closet since. Story 2. This was my junior year. I was living in one of the suite-style dorms where 4 students shared 2 bedrooms and a common area in between. My roommate was a guy named Marcus. Good guy, we got along well. The other 2 guys in the suite were named Theo and Brendan. We all knew each other well enough. It was a comfortable setup. Theo started acting differently around October. Nothing drastic at first. He stopped coming to the dining hall with us, stopped answering texts on the group chat. Marcus mentioned that he'd knocked on Theo's bedroom door a few times, and Theo just didn't answer even though you could clearly hear him moving around inside. We figured he was going through something personal and left it alone. Then Brendan came to me one morning looking genuinely rattled. He told me he'd woken up the night before around 3 in the morning because he thought he heard someone in the common area. He opened his bedroom door and saw Theo standing at the kitchen counter with all the lights off facing the wall. Just standing there, Brendan said hello. Theo didn't respond. Brendan went back to his room and locked the door. The four of us shared one bathroom. A few days after Brendan told me that, I went in to shower and noticed something written in the steam on the mirror. Just 3 words. Not your floor. I stared at it for a long time. I asked Marcus and Brendan if either of them had written it. Neither of them had. That same night I woke up and needed water. I opened my bedroom door into the common area and Theo was standing at the far end of the room, in the dark, facing my door, like he had been waiting. I stood there for a second looking at him. He didn't say anything. I said, "Hey man, you good?" And he said nothing. I went back into my room and locked the door. We reported it to our RA the next morning as a group. The RA spoke to Theo directly. Theo seemed completely normal in that conversation. Calm, articulate, confused by our concern. The RA told us to come back if anything else happened. That same night at around 2 in the morning, we heard Theo's bedroom door open slowly. Then footsteps stopping directly outside my door. Then Marcus's door. Then Brendan's. Just standing there outside each door for maybe 30 seconds before moving to the next. Then his bedroom door quietly closed again. Brendan called campus mental health services the next morning, and Theo was removed from the dorm within 48 hours. We were told it was a voluntary withdrawal for personal health reasons. None of us ever heard from him again. I still think about those footsteps stopping outside my door in the dark, and I don't think I'll ever fully shake it. Story 3. This happened during the spring semester of my freshman year. I was living in a standard double with a roommate named Garrett, who was perfectly normal, and who I actually got along with great. The dorm itself was in an older part of campus, 4 floors, 1 communal bathroom per floor, the kind of place that felt totally fine during the day and had a completely different energy after midnight. Garrett went home for a long weekend in April, leaving me alone in the room from Thursday night through Sunday. I wasn't bothered by this. I was looking forward to having the space to myself for a few days. Thursday night was completely normal. Friday night I stayed up late watching something on my laptop and fell asleep around 2. I woke up at some point later. The room was dark and quiet, and I couldn't immediately figure out what had woken me. Then I noticed the door to our room was open, not wide open, maybe 6 inches. I was certain I had locked it before bed. I always locked it. I lay still watching the gap in the door for a few minutes. Nothing moved. I got up and pushed it shut and locked it and checked the lock twice. Went back to sleep. Saturday night, I woke up again. The door was open again, the exact same amount, 6 inches. I got up and looked out into the hallway. Empty. I shut and locked it again. This time I pushed my roommate's desk chair under the door handle. I did not sleep for the rest of the night. Sunday morning I called Garrett and told him what was happening, without trying to sound as scared as I actually was. He told me the lock on our door had been sticking for weeks, and that he usually had to force it to get it to catch properly. That was something. That explained the door, at least partially. Garrett came back Sunday afternoon, and I told him I was glad he was back, and I meant it more than he knew. That Sunday night I fell asleep early. I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of breathing. Not my own, not Garrett's from across the room, from somewhere closer. I opened my eyes, and in the gap between my bed and the wall, there was someone crouched down in the small dark space looking directly at me. I screamed and hit the light. Nobody was there. Garrett woke up and I told him what I saw. He believed me and switched beds with me for the rest of the semester so I wasn't sleeping against that wall. I never found out if what I saw was real or if I was in some half-dreaming state. But I know the door opened 2 nights in a row when it was locked. And I know what I saw in that gap. I know what I saw.